This is the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today I'm going to speak directly to you, Dan Bilzerian, and I'm going to share with you my system of happiness because I know, bro, I checked you out on the London Real show with Brian Rose, and you're explaining that pleasure does not equal happiness, and there's a lot of pleasure seeking in your life. I want you to be happy, and I want all of your 30 million followers to also be happy. And I know for a fact that you're leading them in the opposite direction of happiness and true fulfillment. First of all, before I explain anything, I just want to tell you, bro, it's amazing what you've accomplished, the grind that you've gone through in terms of learning all the poker skills that you've needed, and also the massive growth that you've had in your social media empire is absolutely amazing. 30 million followers, no matter how you got to that point, it's impressive, and I'm proud of you for actually accomplishing those things. Creating financial freedom, even though it came easier to you than you ever thought it would, you still did it. You still accomplished those things. And hey, I'm proud of you for that. You've got so much positive things going for you that if you made a 180-degree change to your lifestyle, you have the potential to increase your happiness 100-fold. Think about that. Imagine if you could get 100 times happier than what you are right now. It's possible. And I know it's possible because these systems actually work. So let's talk about it. The Men of High Value movement has 3 pillars: truth, freedom, family. First of all, what is truth? Truth is that which works in the long run and in the big scheme of things. Not only this lifetime, but that which also works after this lifetime. I don't know if you're a believer or not. It doesn't really matter. The fact is, if you look at our bodies, man, it's insane how intricate they are, how nature is. It has been designed. It's impossible for it not to have designed. Yes, it might have happened through evolution, but someone designed it. Someone made the ball roll in the direction of where we are today. And it's going to keep on rolling until we eventually get to the truth, where everyone understands what the heck happened, how we got here, and where we're going afterwards. Truth is that which works. And unfortunately, the things that you do not work in the long run, in the big scheme of things. Sometimes I think about what my mother taught me when I was a kid. That if 1 million people did exactly what I was doing right now, would that be fantastic for society? Would it work in the large scheme of things? Because if it works, then apply it, then do it. But if it doesn't work, if everything became havoc and everything became destructive and everything became broken, then maybe we should stop doing it. Truth is that which produces happiness, because that which works produces happiness in the long run and in the big scheme of things. So if you learn to apply the things that work, you're going to be happy. If you're applying things that don't work in the long run, like for example, your addictions, then you're not going to be happy long term. You might temporarily be happy, but you got to remember that our brains are so powerful that every time that we receive pleasure and we're messing with our pleasure receptors, it makes it so that the pleasure that we get the next time we've had that pleasure, it's not going to be as fantastic as it was in the past. But let's talk about the addictions for a second. You've said that if you become president in 2024, you're going to stop having sex and be abstinent the entire term, and then you're going to stop drinking alcohol and you're going to stop doing drugs. That's fantastic. That's awesome if you can do that. However, how about we start right now? Imagine how productive you could be if you managed to get rid of these addictions. It is absolutely ridiculous to be addicted to these things. After it's done, you feel numb, you feel worthless, you feel nasty, man. There's no fulfillment in it. You're not producing something that actually creates joy and happiness for other people. It's mind-numbing. It's dead. And it doesn't fulfill anyone. And what's happening right now is that when you're promoting these activities to your 30 million followers on Instagram, they only see the times when you're smiling. They only see the girls with the boobs and the butts. They don't see you unhappy, which happens a lot. They don't see you irritated. They don't see you ungrateful for the things that you've got. They don't see you when you're sick because you've overdosed. They don't see you we know about the 2 heart attacks when you were 32 years old, and we know about the frictions that happen between the women that desire to be with you. But most of the time, they don't see that. They only see the happiness and the happy pictures and the partying and the drinking and the women and all that extravagant lifestyle that you've got going on for you. Freedom is the key. And right now, you're trapped in those addictions. So you're not really applying the truth to your life, so you're not truly happy. And second of all, you're not truly free because you're addicted to all those things and you can't let it go. Because what's the alternative? What's the purpose? You haven't found out your higher purpose in life. Because if you had a higher purpose in life, you would want to be free. Because there's so much more to accomplish. There's so much more to do. There's so much more to life and eternity than what's happening in your life. The key to getting rid of these addictions is to have a higher purpose than what you're experiencing right now. A purpose beyond you. A purpose that's gonna last after you die. A purpose that other people can look up to and say, wow, that's amazing. I want to be a part of that. Not because of the women, not because of the cars, not because of all of that stuff, but because it's the right thing to do and it's going to improve everyone's lives around me. And it's going to improve society and it's going to make the world a better place. Let's get rid of those addictions. Step number 1, practice semen retention. Not having sex, not drinking alcohol, not doing drugs, no parties, not so ever, and practice semen retention. The reason why is because this was your very first addiction. If you manage to get rid of the very first addiction, man, you can get rid of everything else. And I'm only talking about 90 days. Practice it for 90 days and see how amazing you're going to feel after 90 days of semen retention. In your first 30 days, if you manage to go 30 days with no ejaculation whatsoever, that is a sign of your masculinity. If you relapse, if you don't manage to control yourself in those first 30 days, that's a measurement of your femininity, and then we can truly know for sure how feminine you are because it really looks like you're masculine. But we know you're not because what you're doing, being so focused on immediate gratification and the now, it tells us, it's evidence that you're feminine. If you get past those 30 days and then you move on to 90 days and you've had no sex, no alcohol, no drugs, no stimulants, none so ever, and no partying, man, amazing things are going to happen in your life and you're going to have a completely different mindset going forward. You can actually change and become much more happier immediately within those 90 days, and you'll be amazed at the possibilities for your life and for the life of those that follow you. The ultimate happiness that you can ever get comes from having a family. The last pillar of the Men of High Value movement is family. You've experienced a little small glimpse of what family can do for you in terms of happiness. Because you explained the happiest moments of your life is when you can kick back with a beer with just a bunch of your friends at the beach. And you're just hanging around, no pleasure whatsoever, you're just chilling, talking to each other. That's family. That's amazing. However, if you can manage to bring that same type of commitment and loyalty that is in your boy gang and transfer that directly to a true family with your women and children, creating kids, creating a legacy, being an example for them of what happiness truly is. When you manage to do that, your happiness will massively multiply over time. But this is a tricky one because you've had so many shallow relationships throughout your time. Family seems so far away Because of what you mentioned on the London Real interview, where you said that, marriage, there's not really any upside to it because of the government and because the women can take half your money and the kids and blah, blah. I completely agree with you. And the reason why it doesn't work is because one-on-one monogamy. In one-on-one monogamy, neither of the spouses are emotionally fulfilled. It's really difficult to fulfill each other's needs. Because the woman over time begins to have less and less sexual desire for you. Then isn't it better to have thousands of women sleeping around with you and they always have desire for you? What if you could manage to have that same sexual desire from women as you've had with those other women, but you add that with depth, with happiness in that relationship, with loyalty, with commitment, with knowing everything about them and yet being there for them through thick and thin because you love them with all of your heart. Suddenly your heart becomes exposed, it becomes vulnerable, and you can open yourself up to them. I'm talking about having 3 women commit to you in what we call 3 girls in love. 3 Girls in Love is the ultimate family lifestyle where if you understand the woman, you can manage to retain these women in a positive aspect where the women are bisexual, they're together, where the women love each other and they love you and you're all living in the same household, you're out there creating more and more business, and then they are in the home enjoying their family lifestyle and having kids with you. If you understand the woman, you can easily accomplish this. However, you need to apply the guidelines that are in this 3 Girls in Love lifestyle in order to make it work. And I can help you. You'd be a huge addition to the Men of High Value movement. However, you need to change your ways in order for us to trust you. And in order for these women that you desire, those 3 women that are committed to you for life, for them to trust you. Once you have 3 women that are committed, there's nothing shallow anymore. I can promise you that the joy and happiness that you get from this type of lifestyle, the 3 Girls in Love lifestyle, compared to the player lifestyle that you've been doing and what you're promoting to 30 million followers, I can promise you that the 3 Girls in Love lifestyle is going to give you 10 to 100 times more happiness than what you're experiencing today. And your pleasure receptors are going to go back in place and renew themselves and reboot themselves. You're addicted right now. You're not free. You're not living according to the truth, and there is no depth and commitment in the relationships that you have with other women. It kind of saddens me. It kind of hurts a little bit to know the potential of what you could be and what you could accomplish. And you being aligned with the truth and what it would do for millions of people throughout the entire earth if you used that power that you've got in society today, in social media today, if you realize the responsibility that came with that power and then you use that for good to turn around the lives of millions of people, where you truly were honest and said that, you know what, I'm actually not that happy. And my life is actually not working as optimally as people do believe. Most of these women are fake because I pay for them to be part of photo shoots so that we can put it up on Instagram. Some of the women actually do like me and they want to be with me, but those relationships never ever work. Because I've got a plethora of options for women and I always blame them when they become jealous and when things become difficult among the women. I've got no control over these women because they fight, there's issues, there's all of these things happening, and I'm not happy. Is that what you're thinking? Because that's the vibe I'm getting from you, from the things that you're putting out there. Just like success is predictable and you achieved it, happiness is also predictable. And just like you can 100 times your success, and other people have done it, you definitely can 100 times your happiness if you apply the principles of truth. Man, I hope I meet you one day. You're probably one of the nicest guys I'll ever meet. I don't know you yet. But I really hope that the things that I've shared with you now truly can help you to be happy one day, truly happy, and that you start it now while you're still young. And why go through years of unhappiness in the future now when you can have massive happiness in the next few years by drastically changing your lifestyle and first starting with getting rid of your addictions and practicing semen retention for the first 90 days, and then getting back to me about how you feel and your outlooks on life, and having a higher purpose that you can actually make a huge contribution to this world because of the influence and the power that you've got. With great power comes great responsibility. I know that you can do it. This is the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. I hope to meet you one day, Dan, look you in the eyes, see if you applied what I shared with you, and if you truly became 100 times more happier than you've ever been in your entire life. I'll see you soon.